Did you know that in ancient Arab culture, a woman had exactly one legal way to divorce her husband? It wasn't about infidelity or money. No, she could walk away if he simply failed to provide her with enough coffee. Think about that while you look at your partner. Is your relationship triple shot espresso strong, or is it just decaffeinated instant? In our main video, we saw how coffee is made, but today, we're diving into the stuff your barista doesn't tell you. The weird, the illegal, and the flat-out gross facts that fueled revolutions and literally saved the souls of millions. Buckle up, because the history of your morning fix is much darker and weirder than you think. Before it was a drink, coffee was a snack. Forget your granola bars. Ethiopian tribes used to mix crushed coffee berries with animal fat and roll them into energy balls. It was essentially the world's first prehistoric Red Bull. You're probably thinking, fat balls? Really? Well, is it any weirder than putting butter in your bulletproof coffee today? History just repeats itself, only with better packaging. In the 16th century, coffee was the devil's drink to European Christians. It came from the infidel lands, so they wanted it banned. But then Pope Clement VIII tasted it. He loved it so much he said we should cheat the devil by baptizing it. And just like that, with a little holy water, your espresso was no longer a ticket to hell, but a gift from heaven. Talk about a marketing pivot. Welcome to the Penny University. In 17th century London, for the price of 1 penny, you got a cup of coffee and hours of intellectual debate. It was the social media of its day, but with more literacy and less cat videos. These cafes were so effective at making people think that King Charles II tried to ban them. Why? Because people who drink coffee start talking about things like rights and overthrowing kings. But it's not just humans. Nature's original addicts are actually bees. Coffee flowers produce nectar with caffeine to attract them. It doesn't just give them a buzz, it actually improves their long-term memory. The plant is literally drugging the bees so they remember to come back. It's industrial espionage, botanical style. If you think you're more productive on coffee, NASA has bad news. They gave caffeine to spiders. The result? They wove the most pathetic, chaotic webs ever seen, worse than spiders on marijuana or even LSD. So the next time you feel like you're crushing it after your 4th latte, just remember the caffeinated spider. You're probably just making a very energetic mess. Let's talk about luxury. The world's most expensive coffee, Kopi Luwak, comes from the droppings of a civet cat. The animal eats the cherries, ferments them in its stomach, and, well, you know the rest. People pay hundreds of dollars for poop coffee. Is it the flavor, or is it just the ultimate flex to tell your friends you're drinking expensive waste? Even gravity can't stop us. Italian astronauts have a special machine called the espresso that works in 0G, because if you're stuck in a tin can orbiting Earth at 17,000 miles per hour, the last thing you want is bad instant coffee. It's a miracle of physics, but it also costs more than your house. But here's the sobering reality check. To grow enough beans for just one single cup of coffee, it takes about 140 liters of water. That's enough to fill a large bathtub. Every time you pour an unfinished cup down the drain, you're not just wasting coffee, you're wasting a small swimming pool's worth of resources. Who drinks the most? You might guess Italy or the US, but no, the champions are the Finns. The average person in Finland consumes 12 kilograms of coffee per year. That's about 3 times more than the average person. Maybe it's the cold, or maybe they just really need to stay awake for those long winters. Instant coffee wasn't invented for convenience. It was a rescue mission. In 1938, Brazil had a massive surplus of coffee beans they couldn't sell. They asked Nestle for help, and Nescafe was born as a way to preserve those mountains of beans. It was basically a giant leftovers project that took over the world. Even the great Johann Sebastian Bach was a caffeine addict. He wrote a comic opera called The Coffee Cantata in 1735. It's about a girl who refuses to stop drinking coffee even if her father threatens to take away her suitors. Her response? Coffee is more delicious than 1,000 kisses. Spoken like a true addict. Safety first. In the US, FAA rules or airline policies often suggest that a pilot and co-pilot should drink different types of coffee or eat different meals. Why? To prevent both from being taken out by a single batch of bad coffee. It's a designated survivor policy, but for your latte. Your coffee is scientifically more complex than wine. A typical cup contains over 1,000 different aromatic compounds. Red wine? Only about 600. So the next time a wine snob looks down at you, just remind them that your morning beverage has 40% more chemistry going on than their fermented grapes. President Teddy Roosevelt supposedly drank a gallon of coffee every day. He's also the guy who coined the slogan, "Good to the last drop" for Maxwell House. A gallon? That's about 3.7 liters. No wonder he had enough energy to lead the Rough Riders and build the Panama Canal at the same time. During roasting, there's a moment called the first crack. As the beans heat to 200 degrees Celsius, the water inside turns to steam, and the bean literally explodes like popcorn. This is the bean's structural failure. It's the sound of the magic being released, or, if you're a bean, it's a tiny fiery nightmare. Remember, coffee doesn't give you energy. It's an imposter. It just blocks the "I'm tired" signal, adenosine, from reaching your brain. You're not awake. You're just a car with a broken fuel gauge that thinks it can drive forever. So, after all this, from fat balls to space espresso, we have one question for you. Would you actually drink coffee made from civet poop if someone else paid for it? Write yes or no in the comments and tell us the weirdest place you've ever had a cup of joe. Thanks for watching and stay caffeinated.